All right, I will open the meeting. This is the September 12th meeting of the Lakeville Police Station Building Committee. Our first order of business is to see if anybody's recording the meeting. We have LakeCAM. That is it. First order of business is to approve meeting minutes that we just received a half hour ago. I'm happy to push this to the next meeting if people want to review them. Take some time to do that. What's everybody's thoughts? All right, so we'll just add this to the next agenda, and that'll give everybody a chance to review them. Take your time with them. Next order of business on the agenda is a construction update. So I'll turn it over to Taylor for that.
All right, good evening, everyone. So progress has been really good since our last meeting here. Focus has been on getting the underground infrastructure, electrical and plumbing under the slab areas. So the slab has been poured now. All the steel is up, so what you see is the extent of the steel that's being completed by welding. There's some moment connections, structural connections that welding needs to take place, and then those will be tested. So the next phase of the building you'll be seeing is some trusses come in and some walls being built on the outside of the building. So the outbuilding has not been poured yet. They've been fighting the weather. They were hoping to pour that Monday, Tuesday, but the rain hasn't really helped them. So they'll pour that next. That's all prepped and ready to go. Infrastructure around the site drainage has been going in. Pathways for utility connections have been going in. That's all been backfilled. Concrete encasement. So everything to the building is basically in. So they can start really hitting the building strong. It's going to go up quick now if the steel is complete. The contractor overall is on schedule. Hasn't said otherwise. It looks to us as he'll probably be ahead of that schedule at this point. He's probably 2 or 3 weeks ahead overall schedule, but for all intents and purposes, on schedule. Any questions on the work so far there? I also did provide a budget update. That is, I would use the one that I passed out, not the one in the packet, because there was another update to it that I did just this morning when I got some more information. Now this looks a little bit different than the month-to-month updates I've given you before. This was asked to be put together by the Board of Selectmen, showing what has been dispersed, what the balance to complete is. So it's a little bit longer version than I typically use, but I think this works great. And if you're looking at any changes that have been made since the last time we met to today, it was really only the addition of change order 2, which was a $888 change, and that was for some truss modifications to fit some HVAC equipment in. So if you look at the highlighted portion, change order number 2 added, that was added under changes, so total changes to the general construction line, $14,617. And then if you go down to the bottom, total changes against the contingency to this point, $38,522. That leaves us with our contingency of 1.5 and change. So no major updates to the budget this month, a small one, but still sitting in a good place. Any questions on that? Just going through the agenda here, material testing is going great. We haven't had any issues with that since the last time we talked. When we poured the slab, we have a admixture in there called Barrier 1. That is to help with moisture coming up through the ground. It helps eliminating that so you don't have any issues with your floor peeling after you use adhesives, things like that. So It's actually called for in the spec for a rep from Barrier 1 to be out there when you're pouring the slab to make sure they're happy with the install of it, so they were out there. Actually, Briggs is their counterpart that does that, so Briggs was on site. They're another construction testing company. So everything testing-wise has been taken care of. We've had the SER out there, structural engineer, sorry, out there last Friday when they completed the steel. So he's taken a look at it. He's good with everything. Again, we'll do some final testing on the moment connections when those are done. But for all intents and purposes, the SER has said everything looks great. You know, you guys can move forward. So we're getting the consultants out there as needed, and we haven't had any issues there. As far as our owner vendors go, just yesterday we met with our radio vendor. The chief and I are in the process of getting the radios out for bid so we can get some numbers on those. So we picked 3 different vendors, one of whom is industrial, the town's currently working with. So they'll go to 2 others, Comtronics and Cybercom. We'll get some prices on the radios. So our radio consultant's in the process of putting that bid together now. WB Mason we're meeting with next week, and they'll give us kind of an update on the entire furniture plan. In conjunction with that, I've also been reached out to by KI Furniture and also Sheehan's Office Supplies. Both of those companies are also giving me pricing for furniture that we can compare. So they're all working in tandem. It's really pretty early on, you know, that we can make a decision on furniture and still have plenty of time. So that's in the process in the background. I think as far as owner vendors go, Signet, the security vendor, is signed up, contract's been released. So the chief and I are going to be having a meeting with them, probably setting that up in the next month to kind of just sit down and understand their system, make sure the chief's happy with everything. Followed the plans and the specs that were put out, that Brian put together, that the chief and Brian sat down and hashed out, but you'll just get a better feel of how everything's going to work and why it works the way it does, so the chief's happy with it. So that's the next meeting we're setting up. Propane, I have that in our change order log. We have some pricing from the general contractor for a all-in purchase on the propane. We can talk about that. And then the generator was purchased as well, so that's all set and ready to go. So those have been working in the background while the building's going on, so we're in good shape with owner vendor purchases. So if you want to go to the, I'll go to the PCO log. Again, use the one that I passed out, because I did add some information to that. So everything in yellow is open right now. Last time we talked about the fire service line, we had on the plans a 4-inch, but we had a note that this would need to be confirmed once we had the new hydrant in and the flow test was done to see what size that line would be. So once we got those numbers back, it looked like it had to be bumped up to a 6-inch. That's approved by the engineers. We talked about that last time, about moving forward on that change for $555. So we're recommending that for change order 3. Number 6 was changing the waste tank venting. The vent that comes with the waste tank is a 2-inch. The plumbing inspector is looking for a 4-inch. The engineers reviewed this. They agree. This is being, so this is the change from a 2 to a 4-inch in that design. Next is a value engineering item. And this was to change the countertops from a laminated countertop to a quartz solid surface countertop. The first number you see was before we really had 2 prices on it, $7,723. We went back and we said, we feel that's a little high. Can you take another look at your number? They're back at $5,550 to change to those countertops. So that's really a committee decision at this point. If we want to move forward on that, it's something we do have a little bit of time on. We don't have to make a decision tonight. But that's pricing that just came in last week.
Do you know what the square footage is?
I can get that for you. I don't know off the top of my head.
Which countertops are they? Is it the desk area?
Yeah, it's for most of your desk areas, really. Any built-ins. We looked at it as if you have to replace those laminate countertops in 5 or 6 years, you're going to be spending well over that. So we think it's a good upgrade because it's good. They're going to take pretty big beating in a police station. We like to see the solid surface there. Next is the slide gate operator. Again, this is a value engineering item we added back into the contract. This is the price for the operator, any of the excavation, in order to get the power out to that spot where the operator would be. This doesn't include about $16,000 from Signet in terms of what the security portion of that would be, your tags that work, how that feeds back to the head end room. So it gets us the operator and the gates, but it doesn't get us the security portion. So we have another proposal from Signet on another about $16,000 that completes that. When we looked at that value engineering wise, we thought that pulling that out would be in the neighborhood of about $40,000. So that again puts us in that range of where we initially thought that would be. Number 9 is roof drain piping. This one, on the drawings, there was lines indicated that the site engineer had shown for his roof drain piping to carry it out to underground drainage systems and disperse it to our retention swales. Unfortunately, he didn't notify which type and size they would be. So the contractor didn't carry them. So the first price is to put all the roof drains in. The second one you see below, 9, we took a look at it and said, all of these don't need to run to the bioretention swale. Some of these can run to the ground. We do have a stone mow strip around the whole building. They can empty into that. This empties some into those and gets the ones that would spill onto pavement away from the pavement, so we don't have any running water in the winter over any areas where police would be walking. So our recommendation after review was to go with 9R. That's Brian's review, Brian's recommendation as well.
Can I ask you a question? You said that it wasn't sized or the material wasn't specified.
It just showed a line. It didn't say what it was.
Right, so what does the plumber own? He owns something.
We didn't feel he owned anything. It didn't clarify what it was. It just showed a line. So we can't get him to admit that he's owned anything.
But he owns a system, a complete system, right?
He owns all the downspouts, but the plans didn't show any connection from the downspout to, say, the manholes.
Okay, maybe we can look at it after.
Yeah, I can show you.
Taylor, with that, kind of build on Mike's question, do we ever go back and look at, the other plumbers that bid on it, to see if they carried it, or if it was just this one that missed it, and then put them into the lowest bid?
They don't break down their bid in terms, they just give you a whole number.
All
And they wouldn't give you a copy of their bid, if they carried it or not. So, we asked the question, and, he was the one that brought it up, that no, I didn't carry anything for this, it's not shown on my drawing, so. Number 10 was a credit, a $4,700 credit. There's a coating that was going to be used on the HVAC coils. The engineer noted this when the submittal came through. The coating's actually really only used in high salt areas, so we felt it wasn't needed here. So we asked for a credit on it. Again, almost got $5,000 back on that, so that's a pretty good credit there.
Did we ask the engineer to?
Yes, he verified that.
What do you mean high salt area?
If it was a house built on the ocean
Oh, okay.
and you're getting wind-blown salt.
Well, they put enough salt on Route 18 in the state. I was wondering if that was it.
Taylor, this is carrying over $4,000 into the design column.
Oh, I meant to update that.
47?
Yeah, I just got the 47 today. It was, last week it was $4,000 and we got the extra 700 today after our review, so I'll fix that. So the next one, 11, is the propane tanks. And if you remember, Brian got some initial pricing from Jay Sand. It was about $12,000 for the tanks, for some piping. This is the all-in number from AP Whitaker. This is to install the tanks, all the excavation, the Jay Sand pricing itself. He did also get pricing from Roby's. The Jay Sand price was a little bit less, so AP Whitaker went with the Jay Sand pricing on this one. So This is the all-in number to provide the propane tanks.
So was this originally excluded from the documents?
Correct, yeah. We knew we were gonna have to, we knew we were gonna have to procure it somehow,
Okay.
but it wasn't,
So did we have a hold for it? or
yeah,
allowance?
yeah.
Rita, don't we have to go to bid on that?
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
Propane tanks?
No, because we gave it to AP Whitaker, so it's a change order. We're running it through him.
Okay.
But we are gonna get quotes.
He got
Oh,
quotes.
He's, okay.
Yeah, he got
That's-
quotes from Jay
Reading the
Sand.
minutes, I wanted to ask you that earlier.
And Roby's, yeah.
Okay,
And then, so it was easier than, just giving him everything, there's a small 10% markup that he puts on it, but having him coordinate that whole thing when he owns the site, we felt would be the easiest way to get
and
the
it was
work
gonna
done.
be one 2,000 gallon tank, right, as opposed to, one
It was-
2,000 instead of two 1,000.
It's
Still two one.
still two 1,000s. It's actually cheaper to go two 1,000s than it was to go one 2,000 tank.
Even with all the extra connections?
It was, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jay San actually sent us an email clarifying why it was broken up like
Okay.
that. We had Roby's bid on the exact same system,
Okay.
so we could compare them.
So the tanks are buried, are all the connections also buried? Or is there
Yes.
something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the tanks aren't on a slab, they're just bedded in sand?
I think there's tie downs associated with them that are buried with the tanks as well, but no, they're not on a pad.
So all the connections been put in already, underground, all the underground?
No, nothing for the propane system is in yet. So this is a soup to nuts price to do that. And lastly, 13, this was something that came up last week. We have rectangular floor drains that are shown in the Sally Port, and they lead to a tight tank. And these are to pick up any road debris or oil or anything that comes off the cars. The outlet that goes to the tight tank was a side outlet on the drain. So it was a side outlet that when you looked at it, when they poured the floors, there probably would have been a less than an inch coverage of concrete over the outlet. We were worried about that cracking over time and breaking down within the Sally Port with water getting in there. We looked at an option of going to the same drain, but with a bottom outlet. Unfortunately, those have now been discontinued. That brand doesn't make them anymore. We couldn't find one. So this was to switch to a round outlet in the Sally, a round drain with a center outlet in the Sally Port. So it changes the drain configuration from a rectangle to a circle. The engineers approved that the circle would take the flow. That wasn't an issue. So this was the cost to rearrange some plumbing with the P-traps and move the piping over to the center part of the Sally Port to accept that. This was reviewed by our smaller committee, Brian, engineers as well.
We can look at that at the same time we get the other one, the plumbing zone.
Do we want to approve any of these? Any questions on any of these?
Did he show the credit for for the drain that was specified?
We already bought it and it was on site,
No.
so we couldn't get a credit for it.
If you're gonna wanna look at this, we should give you the opportunity before we act on the change order then.
Well, there's some of these that gotta be done right away, right?
Yeah, the Sally Port floor drain, that was holding up a small pour.
But the reason, I was questioning because I didn't see a credit, but if we bought it, we get it. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. It just seemed like a lot if we were getting a credit. The other one that I had questions on, I just wanted to see is that pipe run, that the plumber's claiming that he doesn't own or something.
Yeah, that one's not holding anything up right now, so
I think that's worth looking at, $7,500, right? Best case, so I think that's worth looking at. And then the countertops I'm okay with, I just wanted to see what the square footage, see what we're paying for.
yeah, I can send you the actual change of what that.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sure that one's fine, I'm just curious.
I just don't remember off the top of my head what that square footage is. So are we okay with 4? We just go down the list?
Yeah, make a motion to accept change order number 4 for fire service to 6-inch instead of the 4-inch.
I'll second that. Any further discussion on number 4? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, it's unanimous.
Number 6, the waste tank venting.
Yeah, we have to do that. I'd make a recommendation to accept change order number 6, waste tank venting, change from 2-inch to 4-inch vent size.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, it's unanimous.
7 and 7R, Mike, I'll send those to you. I'll send them around to the whole committee. If they want to take a look at them. The slide gate operator.
I make a motion, we approve the side gate operator, change order number 8, $25,655.53.
I second that for discussion.
Okay.
So do we want to accept that, not knowing the full cost of
So,
the
the-
IT side?
yeah, so the IT side of that is a total of $16,780 from Signet. It's not on here, I will add it, but it's a different contract.
So if this group decides, I mean, we're authorized to approve up to
All right,
25,000?
wait, we can do that, yeah.
So, I mean, can we separate those, or are those in aggregate? I mean, it's
It's a separate change order.
a separate change order.
It's
I don't
under
care
the
what you guys
amount
wanna do.
that we had an allowance for?
25 was the amount, yeah, for this bigger group, yeah.
No, but the allowance for the total.
Yeah, no, I
for
think we
you said
should
was
approve
like
these.
40,000?
We didn't have an allowance for it, we
Forget,
pulled it out during VE,
Okay.
and we said the aggregate amount was probably around 40.
Contingency, the allowance, basically.
Exactly. The money went to the contingency, so it's now taking the money back out.
So Taylor, what's the amount for the IT? Because
16,780.
We don't have it listed as a change order yet, right?
It is not, no, I just got this.
can we modify the current motion to include that, even though it's not on the change order list as a physical number, if we have the amount?
I don't see why not. It would be,
Is that
it's
something you need to do?
it's really not a change order, it's an amendment to Signet's contract. It's giving them a change order, but it's an amendment to their contract.
We may have a couple of
Yeah.
other changes too, as far as the addition of a couple cameras too, right? That Brian had
Yeah,
sent
the ones in
out.
the outbuilding.
Was it better to do it at that time when we're?
I would
adding
keep these
everything?
kind of tied together. The operator itself and the IT portion.
We can make it as 2 separate motions. I just feel as though if we're gonna accept the gate, we probably ought to make sure that this group accepts the IT portion as
And
well.
can we just add that to the next one and just approve it then, knowing that it's already,
Yeah.
it's not holding anything up at this point, right?
No, it's not.
That way you just have it in,
Yeah.
kind of in,
If the general
Documentation.
consensus is that we would approve the IT portion.
you would have to.
Yeah, you'd have to, well, I think that was,
Yeah,
I think that's my
Yeah.
point.
You don't want to approve
Right.
one without the
Without-
IT access
yeah,
of a
exactly. So-
portion of it, so.
You know,
yeah.
as long as
Can I
we
ask-
all realize that
So
that's.
this vote will be to recommend approval by the Board of Selectmen, and we'll add the 25 to the 16, because you're meeting on the 24th.
Well, no, the 16 we're not going to deal with tonight.
Oh, you're
I
not?
think it ought to be a separate change order.
Yeah, so we have it documented
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
on a
documented.
change order list, just so we can go back in time and say,
But
this is what we
I
did.
think Nate's point was just to highlight to everybody that if we do one, we need to do the other.
Yeah.
So maybe in the notes somehow, you can contingent that the Signet portion gets approved with this.
Yeah.
Put on there or something, right?
I'll figure out how that's written, yeah. I mean, if you do the infrastructure and you don't do the IT, it's not something that has to be done. If you think about it, it should be done.
Right.
If you're gonna do it, do the whole thing, but
Exactly.
it's something that could be technically spent later and give them that access. But I'll break that out. So 8 then, I think that was recommended for approval.
Yeah, we just-
Yeah, so we have a motion on the table, and we're just discussing for the sake of
Yeah,
clarifying.
I second that.
So, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries.
The roof drain piping, I'll send that around. The coating on the HVAC coils, number 10.
Yes, accept that. I would make a motion, we approve the $4,000 credit.
47.
Excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong column, $47,000 credit $4,700 credit. For the
$4,700.
coating, that would be HVAC coils.
Second,
Change order 10.
second that.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. No one carries.
Propane tanks.
Make a motion to accept change order 11 to purchase propane tank in the amount of $22,375.95.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
And the last one is the Sallyport floor drains.
I make a motion to approve change order number 13, change Sallyport floor drains of $2,873.59.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Taylor, if you could you just kind of explain to the group what we had discussed about the coiling doors and why that was rejected?
Oh, yeah. So number 12, it's rejected at this point, but in the outbuilding, we have a metal cage that's to be locked for evidence storage. And the issue with that was where the cage was located, that when your doors roll back like a typical garage door, it was running into the top of the cage. So we talked about lowering maybe the cage height, but then we were worried about access into it and people crawling up there. So we looked at a coiling door that you see on some garages instead of a typical garage door. The cost you'll see there is, almost $6,000 for that door. Going back and forth during our meeting, with the chief, Tim and Nate, we looked at a solution that actually moved the cages over, did a little bit different configuration with them, still worked for the police, and didn't add any cost. So we were able to kind of just strike it out, make the change, and everybody's happy.
Taylor?
Yep.
Do we have a set of the plans, Frank? Did I see a set of the building in the back, the lunchroom?
Yeah, there might be one in there.
I think you had a set here.
Yeah, I think there is one in
Okay.
there.
Oh, my
Just
God.
look at my quotes. Yeah.
Sure. Yep.
Till, wasn't there some other change orders that Brian was working on?
I don't think so.
No?
This is the list I matched up with Ryan before he came tonight, so I don't think there was anything else, but
There was items that we talked about that we haven't decided to put back yet, right?
yeah, like there was on that VE list. The rolling storage units we took out. We're waiting on that. He's working on anything that has any schedule impacts. So I don't think there's any that he's put together.
The schedule change?
Yeah,
Okay.
that have had any. I'll double check with him.
Okay.
But that's actually a running item on our log, where our smaller meetings, any VE items that Ryan needs to get in there.
Okay.
Right now, I don't have any pricing on anything.
Okay.
And lastly, I did have a copy of our action log. Rita, you didn't have to bring copies of that, did you? Was that in the package for tonight?
This one here?
Yes.
Gotta find mine.
So quite a few items have been crossed off since our last meeting. If I go to number 12, utility notifications, that's been great. We've had inspectors out there looking at our secondary lines coming into the building. Water is obviously done, sewer, AP Whitaker is coordinating. We're speaking with TMLP for the fiber, Comcast for lines coming in, Verizon. So that's all being coordinated this time, and it's moving well. I don't have any issues there. I think we're ahead of the ball, especially with electric. 22 on the next page. So the curb cut submission is complete from our project standpoint. As far as the new work that has to be done at the old entrance, It's my understanding Jamie's handling that
Yep.
at this point.
But if, remember our meeting with Mass DOT?
Yeah.
We thought we were all set until they said as long as there's no entrance from the current entrance into the police station. And we told them no, but that's different now, right, Nate?
Yeah, so Selectman Powderly attended a meeting with MassDOT. I believe Aaron was there and Rita was there. And John alluded to the fact that there may not be access from the police station site through the Ted Williams Camp exit. That wasn't correct. He, misspoke on that. So MassDOT thought that if there was no access to the Ted Williams Camp exit, then it's a non-issue. We don't have to resubmit. But we do have to submit because there is connection to that exit. So that's, I think, a moot point unless this group would prefer not to have that interconnection.
I think the reason why is overflow parking.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful to have it, and I think that they seemed very willing to work with us at that meeting, so I'm not as concerned about, the process as I was
Right.
prior to sitting down with them, so.
I'm not concerned with the process. Jamie from Zenith Consulting Engineers did volunteer his time to submit that on behalf of the town for a modification to our curb cut, so there will be no cost to the town on
Yep.
that, and we thought that the highway department would be able to do most of the work. So I think that it's lessened the cost impact.
Right.
So we do have to contact them. His name was Matthew at the table.
I'll have
So
Jamie,
I'll
I'll
reach
ask
out to
Jamie
him
to
and let
reach
him
out to
know
him
that-
directly and let him know that
Okay.
we're following through on.
Wasn't that on the plan?
This is the,
That is,
sorry, the parks curb cut.
No, but wasn't it on our plan to?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
that entrance, absolutely.
Yeah.
So why didn't they see it?
I don't know.
It's funny, because I was at that meeting, and I don't remember him saying that, but I don't remember half of the stuff I hear at meetings, but I know that they
You
were,
did.
I know that
Yeah.
they were very open to the idea of working with us to resolve it, because they know that when that curb cut was done, at some point, they were involved in it. So they know that it may have been altered somewhat at some point, but they didn't seem too draconian in their
John was
assessment of
horrified.
that.
He was proud as a peacock when he came into my office after that and said, hey, I got that curb cut thing all squared away, and it was an innocent error. We'll correct it.
Yeah.
So not to be concerned.
Yep. All right, moving on to number 30, WB Mason, again, I'm gonna change that to really furniture, because we have more quotes now, but we're meeting with them next week. Radio survey, for all intents and purposes, complete. We don't have the final draft yet, but part of the radio bidding will be part of that. Radio bidding is planned to go out by the end of this month. E911 coordination is really ongoing weekly. They reach out to me and ask me for a status on the project, so I'm working with them on multiple stations right now, which is good, so we speak, like I said, weekly. Dispatch consoles, we're gonna start looking at those with the chief soon. We haven't made any decisions on those yet. We can forward those mid-project. Propane tank, we talked about, so that'll be closed out. Closeout documents are ongoing, town IT coordination is ongoing, and a road sign for the PD, we'll make a decision on that at some point towards the end of the project. So I have the larger items right now. That's all I had for a status update. We do have some invoices, and I think that's it.
I just got a question, Aaron. You had mentioned the coordination between TLP and Comcast.
Yes.
What has the decision been made about what's gonna happen
about the fiber for TMLP?
there? The
Or-
fiber and Comcast, how's that gonna work?
My understanding is that everything from the town hall is coming over to the police station.
So it's coming from where, it's out in front of the police station?
Correct. We're bringing that in.
Right.
We're bringing the fiber in that's out in front of the police station now. We've already coordinated a new handhole.
Is that gonna be underground
Yeah.
fiber? Stay
Yeah.
underground to the
Yeah,
building?
it'll stay underground, we have it into the building, and then that coordination of how we bring everything over is really gonna be in depth with Tim Graybars and how that works.
And there's actually provisions for Verizon, Comcast, and the fiber to come into the building.
No, I
Yeah.
understand all that, but you remember the discussion that we had the last meeting about backup and how the backup was gonna work with TMLP, because it goes through two buildings, it goes through the town hall, library, and the COA. So how is that all gonna work?
Because when I read the minutes too, did we agree that backup's gonna be at the COA? Just the COA?
No, nothing's been decided, it hasn't been discussed.
What was in the minutes?
No, it was discussed in the minutes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
no proposal has come forward.
Yeah, I don't think we've landed on a.
Because I know Tim has been in touch with, Tim Graybus has been in touch with Ken Bell at TMLP on this.
Okay. I've been coordinating with Tim, but on
Yeah.
the infrastructure portion, how to get it into the building, more than anything at this point.
And the reason why I bring that up again is the TLMP line goes across the back of the old town hall. Up 18,
Yep.
over here. Okay, I won't bring it up again.
No,
I'm just concerned
no,
about
but
it,
it goes
you
to the
know?
library and it goes to the COA underground.
I understand it goes
Okay,
underground
all right.
here, but there's
So-
equipment in the COA,
Yeah.
and there's equipment in the library. The library doesn't have a generator.
Mm-hmm.
Power goes out, you're down, right now. So how's that gonna be handled?
And our goal was to get it out of the library.
I understand, but
Okay.
what's the plan? I'd like to know the
Okay.
plan. I'm a library trustee, I'd like to
Yeah.
know what's going on.
Yeah, no, and Rich, bring this
Yeah.
up at every meeting until we get
Yeah.
some resolution on this, because I think it's a valid concern, and I know if we don't talk about it, it won't happen, so, you know,
Would it
we
be
need
good to have
to think
Tim
about
at a
that.
meeting, maybe,
Yeah.
at a building committee
I was
meeting?
I'll get in touch
Yeah.
with Tim,
He
and
could probably address,
Because
a lot of
it's,
that.
I think I'm just gonna ask Tim to just lay out what's your plan. You know,
Yeah.
when, day one, when the police move in, what's the, head end, what's the backup, what is the plan? We can go through it that way.
Yeah, because we need to know, I mean, to Rich's point, it's critical because of the backup capacity of the library and.
Town hall.
Exactly, right, so if all of that stuff's going to the police station and the backup has no generator, that's a
You
problem,
did.
right?
Yeah.
So, to further this discussion is funding source for this move from all of the equipment I mean, are we funding that through the police station budget, or is it a separate budget? If we're moving equipment from the town hall over, or we're doing any redundancy of backup? Yeah, well, I just kind of, it's something that, just is that discussion.
The,
I don't
I
really know where
don't,
that's.
the provisions
even
are
know what
already
the plan
in
is
the
yet.
project.
I don't know what that is.
Right, I mean, I think that we have money set aside for this, right?
We have, the provisions are in there, so the raceways and conduit and back boxes and everything is the room size big enough?
Yep.
But as far as moving the equipment over, that's not a line we carried.
Right, okay.
But I think with our budget, we'll be absolutely fine. We can get some pricing for that.
Help
Right.
me out
This is
here.
a capital,
When we
yeah.
talk
Down
about
the
backup,
capital.
what defines
Plus.
that? What do we do?
Yeah,
Okay, the backup is that currently that the TLMT line is, if it goes down, we don't have any electricity, we had no backup. Okay, so what was being proposed was the town hall has a generator, the police station will have a generator, but the library does not have a generator, and the COA does not have a generator. So you need to get those pieces out of those buildings in order to
Yeah.
use the backup at the police station and the town hall.
Okay. So we're talking about actual functionality, not just saving the files up to the cloud.
Oh,
or
right,
something.
it's actual
Yeah.
functionality,
Right, yeah.
because, is he using Verizon? I knew that supposedly he's gonna use Verizon Fios, right? Is that the backup, or is that the primary for the police station?
yeah, I think Tim will have to answer those questions on what the plan is.
I thought that was gonna be the backup. I thought TMLP was the primary.
Okay, well, thank you very much, because nobody else knows.
But you're right, we need a definite plan from Tim and how this is all gonna work. It's a huge deal, so.
It is a
he's
huge
been
deal.
working on the Munis soft right changeover, and I think that's been nailed down as of yesterday. So I'll call Tim tomorrow.
and I volunteered to help meet with anybody to discuss it, and nobody's called me.
And I remember that.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's in the minutes.
Yeah, we can set up
Yeah.
a coordination meeting for that.
Yeah, but I think to Rich's point, we want to make sure we're on that, because that could be more than we're anticipating, and we don't want to not have that ready to go, so.
Thank you.
It's a great thing. Lastly was just invoices, unless anybody has anything new. Overall, things have been working very, very well out there. Everybody's getting along. This was the packet of invoices for tonight.
You want to set invoices? You
Can't
gotta-
even read any of this stuff, it's so bad.
So little. I'm gonna give it, I'm gonna try it out.
Can you read this?
With my goggles, maybe.
I wear reading glasses over these glasses when I'm in my office, that's how bad it's gotten.
I have a copy here. I can help you along with the numbers.
Well, the 24 by 36 version.
Yeah.
All right, Taylor, it's all of these?
Yeah.
How did we do this last time? I know a couple of times we've gone through them line by line. Are we gonna do that at the same time?
That's how you
Line by line.
approved them, I think, as a group last meeting. As one motion. Yes,
Was it one motion?
one motion.
This is the monthly rec.
Yeah. So, well, you might have to modify my motion, but I'd make a motion to accept and make payment on submission recap number 4, 8/1/18 through 9/12/18, items 1 through 28.
Yep.
Do we want to pass this around the table? Does anybody want to look at this? We got copies of this, I think, today.
Yeah, I looked at them.
Is everybody good with it?
I think who's being paid and the amount should be read in the minutes.
Is it the highlighted yellow ones?
Yeah. There's 7 invoices.
Okay,
So if you just
That's
read,
what we read last
so
time.
the first one is for AP Whitaker, if you wanna,
in the amount of,
All right, I'll make a motion to accept number 1, general construction, AP Whitaker, in the amount of $269,312.65.
We can do them all at once, I just
Yeah.
think we want to have it in the minutes that, what we approved.
And architect and engineering construction, is that?
Jakunsky
is that
Humes. Yep.
Jakunsky Humes, Jakunsky Humes in the amount of $7,000. Owner's project manager, Pomeroy, in the amount of $14,476. Geotechnical oversight in the amount of $4,448.16. Bidding expenses, local approvals in the amount of $47. Material testing in the amount of $5,949.86.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries, it's unanimous.
that was it for my agenda.
Okay, so, does anybody else have any points they want to bring up about the project? The next meeting we have listed here is October 3rd. Is that still a go with everybody?
Yep.
I won't be here, but that's okay.
Anything else? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. You want to make that motion, Pauline?
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
so
Thank you.
meeting